I'm just gonna start my reaction recording right here, and we're just gonna get right into it.
Out, I can finally be honest with you. I'm in the FNAF movie!
That's actually
it's
insane.
been a year! And not only was I in the
year?
FNAF movie,
Damn.
my scene was the first scene shot of the entire production. Day one,
What?
scene one, I was there. I also
Matthew
got to
Patrick.
meet Scott Cawthon after 8 years of us dancing around each other for the first time in person. But you know what? We're gonna get to all that. First,
They haven't
and
met
most
before?
importantly, I just need to
You would've
apologize.
thought.
I'm sorry that I had to lie to you for the better part of the last year to make it seem like I wasn't a part of this whole thing. I'm sorry that there were so many of you that were convinced that I wasn't in it and were mad at the
Yo, that's crazy. The first comment from Scott is, I was in a packed theater last night and everyone erupted in cheers when they seen you. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Matt. Like, I was hearing a voice, but like I didn't even think or realize who was talking. Then he just showed up on the screen and said, "It's just a theory." I was like, "Oh shit!" You can see my reaction on that video.
production on my behalf.
That's actually
Trust me,
crazy.
I would have been mad at the production too if I had thought the same thing. I never wanted to cause any sort of stress or anxiety or bad feelings to any one of you out there, and honestly, for what it's worth, I cannot tell you how wonderful it was for me to see so many of you up in arms defending
Matt
my
Patton not
right
in
to
the
be a
FNAF
part of
movie?
this thing. I see each of you, and I appreciate what
Nah,
you guys
I just read
defending
something
my
that was
right
crazy. Matt Pat is to the FNAF movie as Waluigi is to Smash Bros. Nah, that's
to
crazy.
be a part of this thing. I see each of you.
That
and I
Waluigi
appreciate
debate
what
was
you guys
so
were doing.
stupid.
Seriously, it
I'm not
meant
even
the
gonna lie
world
to
to
you.
see so many of you care and defend me like that. It was awesome. I just hope that the surprise of me walking out on stage and being revealed to be in this thing was worth all the fake out. And let me
It
be
definitely
clear, at the end of
was.
the day, no one from the movie once gave me any sort of instructions on how to handle this whole situation. No one swore me to secrecy. There was no paperwork. There were no explicit instructions on what I could and couldn't say. It was all kind of implied. Everything else was just kind of on me. But I also knew that
would've
if
hit
I
it too.
didn't cover the movie or do like live reactions to the trailers on GT Live, things like that, that you all would probably figure it out. You would sense that something was off about our content calendar, that I was hiding something from you, and in turn, that would just ruin the production secret. And let me tell you, I did not expect them to make my life so incredibly difficult, especially when they started throwing YouTuber cameos into the trailers themselves. Thanks for that one there, guys. Is that Daco? No, are you kidding me?
Where to? Are you kidding me?
Fun fact,
Nah, bro was panicking and he thought he was gonna see himself in there.
anyway, they actually had me read for that role literally a week before their filming started. So there I was, awkwardly in my basement at midnight on a Friday with Steph filming me reacting to a giant robot bear in the imaginary backseat of my invisible taxi cab.
No! No!
That's insane.
Not cool, man.
What the hell?
Not cool.
Oh, and also, in case you were wondering,
Oh, so they
actually
were
being in the movie kind
They were originally gonna give the taxi scene to Matt, but then Corey was like, "Oh, yeah." I liked Corey better in that scene, but Matt as the waiter was probably better because you would have not expected fucking Matt Pat to be like a waiter in the Five Nights at Freddy's film. You would expect Matt Pat to be like one of the first security guards, like how you would expect Markiplier or someone like that to be. But or me, you know. No, I'm just kidding. Partially. But yeah, you know, you would expect Matt Pat to be like a security guard. It definitely caught me by surprise, like when they showed him in the frame and he was about to give the menu. I was like, oh shit! And then he said it's just a theory.
of made making theories predicting what was going to be in the
loved
movie
it.
a bit tricky. I had the whole script, and so basically, unless they rewrote the whole thing, I knew basically all the major story beats. It kind of felt like I would be cheating somehow or spoiling the movie in advance unfairly. So instead, that film theory prediction of the movie was one of the few times where I actually took a complete step back from the channel and was almost entirely leaving the script in someone else's hands, letting Film Theory's creative director Lee handle all the heavy lifting based on information that was available via the trailers. And I gotta say, I was surprised with just how much he got right, and also some of the things that he missed, but you know what? That's a theory for another day. Anyway, so yeah, almost
he said it
exactly
again.
1 year ago, all the way back in November of 2022, I was contacted by Blumhouse to be a part of the movie, or Bad Cupcake, as they were calling it back then. It was the secret code name so no one discovered what it was. A week
Cupcake.
before flying out, they were still shuffling me around to see what my part would be, and on February 1st, day one, scene one, I was in New Orleans to film this thing. Hey there. Welcome to Sparky.
That's crazy.
Okay, but let's get real. The whole
Bro went from taxi driver to the waiter. That's awesome though. And then you see him in his outfit too.
actor thing is kind of crazy. They're like, no, we will bring the stuff to you, and oh, you can stay in your trailer. I'm like, it's okay. I can go get my own food. They're like, no, but you are the actor.
One thing off the bat that I didn't expect was actually the scale of this thing, because
That's how they be treating actors? Like, we get your food and all that stuff? Like, what the fuck? I can walk and go get the food wherever y'all are making it, you know? Like, I don't want no damn Alfred Pennyworth. I can go get my own food.
It was massive.
I got
You're
it.
probably thinking, well, no doubt.
Like, I'll give y'all your food. Y'all brought me here to be in this movie. I got y'all, bro. Like, y'all need some help cleaning up a set? Like, I want to be useful. Like, I don't want somebody to treat me like I'm royalty. That's weird.
Matt, it was a movie, but I guess that never really registered with me. I mean, I've done professional theater before. I've done things like big
Really?
Mr. Beast shoots where he takes over entire football stadiums. How different could this actually be? Well,
I knew about the Mr. Beast thing because of the Rosanna Panzino drama, but I didn't know MatPat actually did film.
different. It was huge. I have never seen anything this size.
Perfect for the
before.
role that he
the
got
number
then.
of people, the coordination. I had a costume fitting the day before, and for my dinky little cameo of 3 lines in this movie, I kid you not, they had me try on 20 different combinations
Damn!
of outfits, all of which had to then be run by the director and Scott for their approval. I mean, an entire floor of a
You
building
know, Scott was like, nah, give him the waiter.
was just full wall to wall of clothing. Hundreds and hundreds of outfits.
Scott's
Mike
trolling
alone
ass.
had practically an entire wall all to himself. It was actually there that I got to see who else was going to be a part of this movie up on the wall. That's where I actually learned that Corey was going to be a cab driver for the first time. It was also where I saw that good old Markiplier was supposed to be the security guard who gets killed at the very beginning of the movie. But probably most importantly of all, it's there that I also saw the withered, dabbing Chica posted on the wall. Like
What?
some sort of guardian angel over the production. Basically,
Nah, but see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I kind of wish Corey would have came out and talked about his behind the scenes thing. Cause like, damn, I didn't know it was like this in depth for Markiplier, for MatPat's side of things. Like, we get to see what it's like to be an actor in the film and see like the type of stuff he's seeing as an actor.
I was just doing the whole theorist thing by trying to pick up as many small details and Easter eggs as I could in what few moments I had left unsupervised. Funny enough, it turns out the production staff were trying to do the exact same thing right back at me. From the moment I stepped into my first costume fitting, people started to grill me about
Who's
FNAF.
that purple guy?
No joke.
Why is that kid
Apparently, they
crying?
had been briefed that I was someone who had studied the franchise a lot. And so I was getting inundated with all sorts of questions about the type of person that Mike is, or how I saw William Afton in my mind's eye, or whether I could give them information about characters like Abby.
Bro, imagine coming here to be an actor and then they ask you about the intricate lore of Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, I'm on my break, bro. Leave me alone.
Honestly think it was them trying to get a feel for whether they were on the right track with all of this, how the community as fans might respond to all of this world that they'd created, which honestly is pretty cool. The same thing happened the next day when we were on location at the shoot, where all the other actors in my scene between setups would take time to ask me about
Do you
how
know
their
about FNAF?
characters behaved
What's
in
my
games,
character
how
like
their
in
role fit
game?
into the overarching narrative of the
Oh.
franchise, which I gotta say,
Oh, that shit's
was kind
fire.
of a bummer because all the characters in my scene were just made up for the movie. So didn't have a whole lot of detail to impart on them. So instead of all that, Heather Stewart Masterson, she's Aunt
It's kind of funny to be like the person that everyone's relying on to look
Jane
better
in the movie.
the,
She just ended up
in the
asking
film.
me a lot of questions about the parallels between Abby and Baby from the game, since that's the one that her character is probably most focused on. In general, though, it was clear that across the board, everyone was so eager to do the franchise justice. They wanted to know as
That's
much
fucking
as
great!
they could. They wanted to learn.
We need
They wanted
Blumhouse to make more
absorb
game
all that
films
information,
on horror
and they were
or some shit.
proud to be a part of a project and being able to show it off. The only sad part of it all was that I was so early in this project.
Like, I swear, like, I'm so happy Paramount did not get to Scott. Cause like, you know how they almost fucked up Sonic and how the community needed to yell at them for that. I'm glad Universal and Blumhouse got Five Nights at Freddy's.
Most of the stuff wasn't even ready for me to see yet. They really wanted to show me the pizzeria, but schedule-wise, the first month of production was dedicated to everything happening outside of the pizzeria, meaning that the set, it was still being built. It was still in process. So when they took me to see it, it just got a lot of blank walls.
Wow.
And don't get me wrong, they were impressive blank walls. Very big, very majestic blank walls, but still, left a lot to the imagination. Same thing kind of happened when they showed me the animatronics. Everything was still locked away because it needed final testing, so the most I got was like,
I hope you got to see the finished
little
product.
peek through a sliver in the wall. It's awesome. I think I could make out the murder mask. I'm like, what's up with that weird
Murder
Freddy
mask?
head? And they're like, I don't know, creative decision. But come to think of it, it actually kind of worked out really well, because when it came time to react to the trailers when they were being uploaded to YouTube, I didn't have to fake anything, because it was truly my first time getting to see all of this thing finished. Sure, I knew the storyline of the movie. I had the whole script in my hand.
Yeah, in a negative like 100% that I get added to the second film, which I hope I do because FNAF 2 is my favorite game, and I hope they do it on the old FNAF 2 office. I hope they don't allow me to see shit. I hope that I don't even know, bro. I just only get to see my role, and that's it.
And I knew what part I played in this whole thing.
That's
but
good
it
that
all,
they didn't let
actually getting to
YouTubers see
experience
anything.
How it all worked together. It was my first
I like how they
time.
treat that
no
as well.
fake reactions here, my friends. And to be honest,
They wanted everything
seeing it on
genuine,
camera
100%.
doesn't do the scale of this whole thing justice. I cannot stress to you how massive this production was. They literally built an entire restaurant inside of an old abandoned Home Depot in New Orleans. Hallways, rooms. It was a complete restaurant. Home
Did I hear that
Depot
right?
production was. They literally built an entire restaurant inside of an old abandoned Home Depot in New Orleans. Hallways, rooms. It was a complete restaurant, which was just mind-blowing to me. Most movies would probably try to do some clever camera tricks or green screening or something, but no, they built an entire building from the ground up inside of another building. It was crazy. As far as my role in all of this, I had a one-day shoot, and
What the
that
fuck?
actual day I had to wake up at 4 a.m. and then find a car that had been left for me in a random parking garage the night before. Inside the
fuck?
car were explicit driving instructions to a secret location. Really felt like something straight out of a spy movie. From there, I drove an hour out of town to a random diner that had been shut down due to COVID. Once we were on location,
That's how they be treating people? That's crazy. That's cool.
actually gave me my own trailer. They told me that's not the sort of thing that
Waiter
a day
Doug.
player would normally get, but they wanted to give us YouTubers the star treatment, which I gotta say was just like incredibly generous of them. That's right. Got 3 lines, baby.
Damn.
That's what I get. It's nice. That's where I'm gonna be hanging out.
Nah, that's insane
The
though.
next 2 episodes of Game Theory gonna be written probably. Inside my trailer, I found this guy right here, little rubber chicken head, little pencil topper. He was in one of the drawers, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna work him into my character. And so if you see him in the
Bro
movie,
rescued him.
That's it. It's a little Easter egg for you. And from there, it was on to set where for the next 8 hours, we were working on a single scene, not one diner scene. You heard that right, 8 straight hours, one thing. Why so long? They had the cameras set up outside. Then they had to move the cameras inside. Then they had to have the specialty
Jesus.
close-up cameras. Then they had to remove half the booth to capture one side of a conversation, then remove the other half of the booth, replace the other half of the booth to capture the other side of the conversation. Then they had to remove the booth entirely so they could put cameras right here and capture a close-up of my face. There were B-rolls of different tables getting served. There were B-rolls and specialty shots of dishes getting served up at the window. It was a lot for what
Holy shit.
ultimately amounts in the movie to be like 3 minutes of footage. As you
So,
might imagine, we all started
If he
getting
did all that for 8 hours just to say it's a theory, what do you have to do if you're actually like a character that has to die in a horror movie? Like,
a bit creative.
how many
with
shots
how
do they have
we
to
were filling our time
make
with
for
each
that?
take.
What are you doing?
I'm filming this for eventually when I do the like, hey, I was in this movie and it's behind the
Oh
scenes.
my goodness.
Wow, so no pressure. Hey,
The lengthy time between takes as they moved cameras along also gave me plenty of
heck?
chances to explore the set for any hints of lore. And I actually found a lot of really fun details buried in the walls. Like,
Safety
here's one
certification,
time where I found the
sales
fake
tax.
diner's registration information. Here's another one where I found a QR code that I was
ATC.
almost convinced was trying to be a start of some new ARG. Then I learned that it wasn't. At which point, I decided to call that detail out to the production team as being anachronistic, since this was meant to be set at a time before QR codes
Anachronistic.
became mainstream. And then they promptly took it down. So,
Damn. He belonging to a. Oh, he literally just fucking said that too.
TLDR of this entire video.
He just taught me a
I
whole another
single-handedly
word.
saved the FNAF movie. By the way, on the subject
That's how
of
you know I'm stupid. He already said the definition, but I already searched it up. Like,
the small details, I don't know if you noticed it in the movie, but the diner I work in is called Sparky's Diner, which is a reference to one of the earliest urban legends from the first FNAF game. That there was
Sparky
this
the dog.
animatronic named Sparky hidden somewhere inside. The movie is actually full of these sorts of Easter eggs. For instance, my character's official name, right here, it's Ness. I don't know if you'd noticed this one in the movie, but it's Ness. And I was told by everyone that Scott specifically called out that he needed me to be named Ness. At first, I immediately thought like, oh, this gotta be a reference to Ness from FNAF AR, or maybe this is another instance of Vanessa from Security Breach. You know, just Scott trolling people by using the same name over and over again. But no, when I met him later in the day, he told me it was a reference to Sans' Ness. He was very proud of himself. Speaking of,
I hate you, Scott Cawthon. I hate you, Scott Cawthon. You were like the world's biggest troll, bro. This man is the world's biggest troll. He can't be stopped. Really. This man Scott will never stop trolling. We have to get him back someday. All that for a Sans joke. This man flew out here, got his role placed. They set him up just for a Sans joke. It's really bringing back the 2000 and like what, 18, 17 vibes.
the man, the myth, the legend himself, Scott Cawthon. The whole time, it was unclear whether Scott would actually be there on set. It was one of those things that people were like, we don't know if Scott's gonna be there. He might show up. We asked him if he's gonna show up on the first day. I thought that was a little bit weird. I mean, it's your first day of shooting your movie that's been like 5+ years in the making. I don't know, you'd think that you'd try to make an appearance there or something, right? Well, he did, but apparently it was a big surprise. He flew in special for that day. It was interesting. Most of the production crew didn't know who he was.
Who is this guy?
As the VIP on set, who everyone had to listen to if he asked them to do something, but no one actually understood what he was.
That's
he was the creator of the
crazy.
game. I think ultimately it winds up being a movie thing, you know, where he's just responsible for talking to the director, who's then the one who's executing on his creative vision. So a lot of the rest of the day-to-day staff don't really need to know that this is the man that gave them a reason to be there in the first place. But yeah, I got to meet him. It was great. He has a good, strong handshake, and he looks you in the eye when you talk, which is always the sign of an upstanding person. He was wearing a classic Zelda t-shirt, which...
Or just a person that is like analyzing you so they know the best way to troll and fuck with you. Like, seriously.
Props to that one. And,
I mean, just look at his smile, bro. This man is full of jokes. I can just tell.
Honestly, of directing everyone. I overheard him consulting some of the costume department and clearly outlining his vision of what everyone should be wearing, which was really cool. I think most people
Vanessa
would probably
Shelley.
been intimidated by this massive production, all leaning on him, but it was just really impressive to watch. He made sure that I knew about the whole Ness joke and also about how he gave the waiter role bonus lines. In fact, he was so proud of that one line that he asked me to go over the top with it like I do in the videos as part of the scene, and I did it for one take, and it was weird, especially with everyone else in the scene taking the scene so seriously, and so we all decided to keep it a bit more toned down. He took off before I left for the day, and I said, I'll see you again at the premiere. And, well, there's no premiere, so I guess that's the last time I'm ever gonna see him. Oh, and no, to answer your obvious question, we did not talk about lore. We both swore that one off. Instead, we talked about the community and how we both expected the community to take this particular script. In the end, he was just really grateful for me being able to be a part of the movie. And that was mind-blowing to me, because I'm like, are you kidding? I was the one who was lucky. I got to be in this mainstream movie. How cool is that? Growing up, acting was one of my dreams.
That's insane,
to be a
man.
performer, that was always like the end goal for me for like the first 18 years of my life. And since then, that goal's obviously changed. I've moved on, I've done something.
The fact that Matt actually has like clips of his acting too, that's crazy. I like that.
Honestly, that I'm more proud of here, where
Man, kept
I'm
all
able
that.
to make a business and perform as myself instead of as a character. But this was, in a lot of ways, a realization of that dream that baby MatPat had nearly a decade ago.
2009.
I actually recorded a bit of my thoughts as I was getting ready to leave the set. It felt important to document.
That's a wrap.
I was there. I was in it. Kind of sad.
But it was cool to see a childhood dream in some ways get realized.
It was kind of like I got a peek into a multiverse of another life of mine. And then that was it. Back home, like nothing had ever happened. I did keep the pencil topper and the name tag as souvenirs though, so yes,
That's awesome.
I did steal from the set of FNAF the movie. For 2 days, this was just a small window into something that was so big. I got to be a visitor in this massive machine that I hopped off of, and then that just continued on without me. But man, let me tell you, it is surreal to see posters going up in theaters of a movie.
It's crazy how
that
FNAF
you're
is
in.
like helps
Oh,
a lot of us,
can
man.
Can I level with you for a second? This whole thing, it was so intimidating. You know how I keep doing
I
videos
bet.
this year about again. Show them the force of Team Internet so that the late night hosts and the executive producers finally learn that things from the internet deserve to be pronounced correctly. Anyway, in the end, who knows? Maybe there'll be room in the sequel for the return of a well-meaning, cringy waiter with a love of breakfast and a meme-ish name. But until then, remember,
They need to get him as a
that's
security
not
guard.
A theory. It's just a video. Video for you. Thanks for watching.
Is that what he says on Film Theory? Damn, that was actually weird to hear. Like, I was waiting for the game theory, but no, motherfucker said a film theory. I gotta watch more Film Theory, though, because he's actually talking about, like, YouTube stuff, too. It's not just, like, films, the back rooms, murder drones. I actually might check this shit out. But, yeah, I've been sitting on a live stream, if you don't know. I've been watching, Razbowski's and Daco's behind the scenes footage with the spoilers this time for an hour straight. And it's like, it's really good to see like a bunch of YouTubers actually go to these sets and they're like, holy shit, this is like intimidating. This is crazy. It's just awesome to see that like Blumhouse and Universal cared about having the YouTubers there to show the audience and the community that they are indeed making a movie that they want to make the community proud with. So yeah. And I loved hearing about how the treatment was that these YouTubers got. Like the YouTubers didn't get to like see anything that spoiled them, so they actually got to react with their audience and everything was genuine. Hell, even an actor didn't get to see much of the movie and much was left to their interpretation, and it was pretty awesome. And it was great to hear that MatPat had a lot of people coming up to him for their roles to see if their role fit with what they were trying to create. Like it was awesome, bro. It's awesome hearing how they get treated down there. It's awesome. Like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I think that's pretty much it for this live stream, and that's pretty much it for this video. So I will see y'all later. Peace out.